Chosen ones, you are here for a reason. You didn't find this message by accident. Heaven guided you to this exact moment. October 31st. It's a night you've been told is about fun. But it is far more than that. It is a night that carries ancient power. A night that has been hijacked by the enemy, veiled in tradition and celebration. What if I told you that everything you've believed about this night is a lie? What if I told you that tonight you stand at the crossroads of destiny? Your awakening begins now. This truth will challenge what you know. It will shake your foundation, but it will also set you free. Comment 77 below if you're ready to confront the darkness and rise with the truth. Stay with me, because the truth is about to be revealed. Chosen ones, you've been told that October 31st is just another celebration. A night of costumes, candy, and harmless fun. But there's a much deeper truth beneath the surface. A truth that has been hidden from you for centuries. October 31st was never meant to be a night of joy. It was always meant to be a night of spiritual danger. A night where the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world is lifted. Where dark forces have free access to influence and deceive. This night is far more than a tradition. It is an invitation to something much darker. It's a night when the enemy has a clear path to enter. A night when death, fear, and confusion are magnified. The truth is, for centuries, the enemy has used this night to subtly infiltrate the hearts of the people. Not with bold, obvious evil, but with an invitation to entertain darkness. The enemy doesn't want you to see the true nature of this night. He doesn't want you to understand the spiritual significance. Because once you recognize the danger, once you see the truth, you will stand against it. Halloween, in its roots, was not just about costumes and celebration. It was about the honoring of death, the glorification of spirits, and the intentional opening of doors that should remain closed. This night has a long, ancient history, a history that goes beyond the surface of pumpkins and masks. It was never meant to be lighthearted. It was meant to manipulate, to lead people into spiritual confusion. You, chosen ones, are called to rise above the confusion. You are called to stand firm in the truth. The time has come for you to awaken to the reality of this night, and to defend against the darkness that seeks to influence you. This message is not to make you afraid. It is to make you aware. Awareness is your first line of defense. Awareness is what breaks the enemy's hold over your life. Chosen ones, this is the moment of awakening. You are not here by accident. You are called. You have been chosen to stand in the light, to rise up in the face of darkness, and to reveal the truth that the world is hiding. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out, to walk in the truth, to defend what is holy, and to expose what has been concealed. You hear the call, don't you? The call to awaken, the call to rise above the deceptions of this world, the call to stand as the light in a world that has chosen shadows. This is not just about knowledge. It's about action. It's about stepping into your divine purpose, living out the truth you were meant to carry. The world may try to keep you asleep, but God is calling you to wake up. God is calling you to stand tall, to embrace your destiny as a chosen one. You are not just part of the crowd. You are part of something much bigger. You are part of the divine plan, a plan that has been unfolding for generations. If you are ready to awaken to your purpose, to step into the role God has called you to, let your voice be heard. Share this message and declare to the world that you are ready. This is your moment. This is your time. The enemy has tried to silence you, but now is the time for your voice to rise. Chosen ones, you must understand the consequences of embracing the traditions of darkness. The world has made these traditions seem harmless, but the truth is, they are more dangerous than you can imagine. When you choose to celebrate what has been tainted by darkness, you invite spiritual forces into your life. You open doors that should remain shut, and you invite confusion and fear to take root in your heart. This is not just about a harmless holiday. This is about the spiritual world reacting to what you choose to participate in. You may not see it at first, but the consequences are real. A spiritual drift will begin, and before you know it, you'll find yourself further from the truth, more desensitized to what is unholy, and further entrenched in what God has warned us against. The Bible is clear. We are not to have any part in the deeds of darkness. Ephesians 5:11 tells us, "Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them." You cannot walk in the light if you are comfortable entertaining the darkness. You cannot rebuke what you secretly celebrate. The consequences are not just spiritual. They affect your life, your family, and your future. You will find your heart growing cold, your discernment fading, and your connection to God weakening. The truth is clear. Darkness will never lead you to peace. Only the light of truth can guide you to freedom. Chosen ones, the Bible speaks directly to the darkness we face in this world. It is not something we can ignore. It is not something we can brush aside. God has already revealed the truth to us, and it is time for you to see it clearly. In 1 John 1:5 we are told, "God is light, in him there is no darkness at all." This is the foundation of our faith. The light of God has no room for darkness. And as his children, we are called to walk in his light, to separate ourselves from the darkness that seeks to deceive. But what is darkness? It is not just the absence of light. It is the presence of lies, of deceit, of fear. It is the manipulation of truth, the twisting of God's word to lead people astray. It is the counterfeit of what is holy. The Bible is filled with warnings about the dangers of darkness. In 2 Corinthians 6:14 it says, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness?" These words are clear. Light and darkness do not mix. You cannot live in both. You must choose the light. God calls us to walk in the truth, to expose the lies of the enemy, and to reject anything that leads us away from him. When you embrace the light, you reject the darkness, and you stand as a testimony to the world of God's truth. Chosen ones, we must understand the history behind Halloween, because it is not what it seems. This night, this tradition, has roots deeply embedded in ancient pagan rituals, and those roots have spiritual consequences. Before it became what the world celebrates today, Halloween had a different name, Samhain. It was a pagan festival marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. The Celts believed that on this night, the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred, and spirits roamed freely on the earth. People feared the dead, and they performed rituals to appease these spirits, believing that their actions could either bring blessings or curses. This was not a night of joy or celebration. It was a night drenched in fear, in confusion, and in spiritual darkness. When Christianity spread through Celtic regions, the Church rebranded this festival, naming it All Hallows' Eve, which later became Halloween. But the foundation of this night remained unchanged. It was still about spirits. It was still about death. It was still about honoring the things that God has told us to reject. The costumes, the masks, the candy, these are all surface-level distractions. Behind them lies a much deeper, darker truth. A truth that connects this tradition to the glorification of darkness, to the invitation of spirits, and to the opening of doors that were never meant to be opened. What the world calls fun is nothing more than a deception that draws you closer to the forces of evil and away from the light of truth. The history of Halloween is not one of joy, but one of deception, and it's time for you to break free. Chosen ones, the time has come for you to rise. You were not created to be hidden. You were made to shine, to stand firm in the truth, and to walk in the light of God. God is calling you to stand against the darkness, to rise above the lies and deception that have clouded this world. He has called you to be His light in the darkness, to be the beacon that leads others to the truth. This is not a time for fear. This is a time for strength. This is a time to awaken to your true purpose and to rise with the power that comes from God alone. The world is waiting for you, for the chosen ones who will rise up, for the ones who will stand tall in the face of adversity. This is your moment. Do not shrink back. Do not be silent. God has given you His light, and it's time for you to let it shine. Comment, "I will rise" below if you are ready to stand in the light, to walk boldly in your calling, and to be a testimony of God's truth in a world that needs it. Let your voice be heard. This is the time for you to step into the destiny God has prepared for you. It's time to rise and to stand as a light that cannot be extinguished. Chosen ones, the truth has been revealed, and now it's time for you to take action. This is not just about understanding the truth. It's about living it. You are not just a spectator in this world. You are a participant in a divine plan, a plan that has been unfolding since the beginning of time. And now it is your turn to step into the fullness of your purpose. The enemy will try to discourage you. He will try to make you feel small. He will try to convince you that you are powerless. But the truth is, you are more powerful than you know, because the light of God is in you. When you embrace your destiny, you are not walking alone. God is walking with you. He has equipped you with everything you need to fulfill His divine plan for your life. Chosen ones, the battle between light and darkness has been fought for ages. But the truth is this: light always prevails. You are the light in the darkness. You are the ones who will expose the lies. You are the ones who will stand firm in the truth. The enemy may try to throw fear and deception your way, but God has already equipped you with everything you need to overcome. He has placed His light inside you, and it will never be extinguished. You are not just called to survive this world. You are called to change it. You are not just here to exist. You are here to shine. Your mission begins now. You are the generation that will rise above the darkness. The generation that will bring truth where lies once reigned. The generation that will proclaim God's light to a world that desperately needs it. Remember this: no matter how dark the night may seem, light always wins. The resurrection of Christ is proof that darkness can never defeat the light. And now you carry that light within you. This is your time. This is your mission. The world is waiting for you to step into your destiny. Comment "Light wins" below if you are ready to walk in the victory that Christ has already won for you. If you are ready to stand as a beacon of truth and light. Let the world know this is your moment, and your mission starts now. Light will always prevail, and with you, chosen ones, it has already begun.